I'm thrilled to lead you through the program for this morning. We have an exciting day planned for you with great talks and hopefully some networking opportunities. Before we begin our program, I have a few housekeeping items. First of all, I would like to give a huge thank you to all of our sponsors who make this event possible. Our platinum sponsors are BuildBuddy, EngFlow, and Google. Our gold sponsor is Aspect Build, and our silver sponsors are BuildKite, JetBrains Trunk, Tweak by Modest Create, and Virtuous Lab. Thank you again for your support. A quick reminder about our event code of conduct. All attendees should feel welcome and included, so please treat everyone with respect and professionalism. If you have any issues, please talk to our event staff immediately. Here you can see a QR code for our schedule. Should also be on your badges. There's also an app that you can use to assemble your own schedule. I want to remind everyone that our solutions showcase with the sponsor setups is in the International Ballroom EF, that's next door, starting at 10:30. It will be open until 6:30 today, and you can check it out during breaks, and lunch will also take place there. Be sure to stop by and talk to all of our sponsors. Today afternoon, we will have a reception in the Solutions Showcase sponsored by the Platinum sponsors. We'll start right after the sessions conclude. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there. I think everyone is connected by now. Information is also on your badge. There's also a BasilCon Slack channel. Feel free to connect with other participants and let us know if anything is not working. We will try something new this year. We haven't done this in the previous years, an unconference session. We have created a GitHub discussion on the Basil Contrib GitHub org. Propose topics there that you're interested in, that you want to get discussed, and upvote the topics. There's some small instructions there. Please read through them and upvote them. We will also post this link in the BasilCon Slack channel. And with that, we are ready to get started. I would like to invite Mícheál of Foghlú, the engineering director at Google, on stage to share some insights about Google's internal Basil usage.
Thank you. So let me start by emphasizing one particularly important message. Google itself relies on Basil, not just our internal version, Blaze, and we'll continue to rely on Basil. So essentially, we're doubling down on Basil in Google. One artifact of this is that we've had a very rapid uptake of Basil usage internally in Google over the past year, just since BasilCon last year. It's about 25% year-over-year growth, as reflected in this graph. Note that in comparison, our internal Blaze usage has also grown, but only by about 10% year over year. So the main reasons teams pick Basil inside Google is for the security and the hermeticity of the builds. And then they often get, as a side benefit, the speed benefits, especially when they then optimize their CI systems to use caching in the cloud. Basil also makes it easier to sort of shift modes between Google 3 itself, so the internal build system, and the externally facing open source things. And we notice that engineers who we hire externally, who are already familiar with Basil, are quicker to sort of get up to speed with our internal tooling because they understand some of the core concepts. By the way, if you haven't seen it, we have an O'Reilly book, the SWE book, we call it. And if you go to absale.io, it's available for free to read online, so you don't even have to buy it. Although, of course, I recommend you do buy it. So I want to go into a couple of details of 2 examples of teams that have adopted Bazel inside Google in recent years. So the first one is a really cool one. At the bleeding edge of not just AI, but also the next generation of computing itself, our quantum AI project. So our quantum AI team published an article in Nature showing the first verifiable quantum advantage using their special Willow processor. And they've been migrating to Bazel over the last while. Their code base is largely Python and Rust. And most of this migration has been driven by a single focused engineer. The interconnectedness of the code base made this particularly challenging, so they started to use Gazelle early on to generate build files for everything in one go. So thank you for creating and maintaining Gazelle, Jay, and Fabienne. Thank you. So running Gazelle resulted in dependency cycles that had to be worked around by node and edge contraction, especially collapsing multiple nodes into a single one where necessary. And the team added remote execution early on, which helped reduce the average CI test times by 80%, or approximately 10 minutes. So the second cool example of internal usage of Bazel is our Google Distributed Cloud product, GDC. So this is kind of a packaging of our cloud product to allow it to run in different places, including on-premise with trusted partners, where Google itself no longer has access to that code at all. So essentially, we're packaging very, very large numbers of complex products, the things that we've built internally to run our own cloud. So this showcases Bazel's power at scale, supporting over 1,000 engineers who run 1,000+ builds with 50,000+ jobs daily. And their primary challenge was that the release artifacts grew to a massive size of 600 gigs in order to bootstrap the whole private cloud in an air-gapped environment. So their setup is tightly integrated with Google's infrastructure, including our monorepo Google 3, and Google Cloud Build, Google Cloud's own build system. So Bazel has enabled the team to ship more than 20 releases per month with custom Docker images, building artifacts as large as 100 gigs, and with a large number of external dependencies. The build times are under continuous optimization and have reduced the time already from 3.5 hours down to 1 hour, and we're aiming to reduce it even further down to 30 minutes. So with that, I'll pass back to Toby to give you some more feel for our Bazel usage in Google. Thank you.
So actually, we will look at external Bazel usage. Internally, we have a lot of telemetry. We can observe all the builds that are happening, and it's easy for us to tell what is growing. Externally, we don't have the telemetry, so we have to look at proxy numbers. One of those proxy numbers is the number of Slack users. In our public Slack instance, it has grown 18% year over year. We're now 8,500 users, roughly. And most active channels, after general, of course, are BZL mod, Python, and Apple. Found that interesting. Another proxy number is the number of BZL files $code at GitHub. If I compare this to last year, we had less than 100,000 files. Now you find 120,000 hits. So we see a growth there in the $arc files as well. That's also reflected in our Bazel Central Registry, where we see the number of rule sets growing by almost 50%. Examples of new rule sets are rules autoconf, rules mojo, rules vulkan. There are rules for everything that exists out there. And if not, it's relatively easy to write a new rule set. We also see that close to 11,000 repositories on GitHub, excluding forks, already have a module.basel file. That means they're at least partially using BZL-mod. We will talk more about BZL-mod later today. Another proxy for the growth is the number of modules and module versions in our Basel central registry. As you can see, they're both steadily growing with around 900 modules by now and 5,000 module versions covered today. It's a nice graph over time. I think BZL-mod is now mature, and you can find a lot of dependencies in the BCR. Thanks to everyone who is contributing by either adding dependencies to the BCR or reviewing those. Really welcome. These are the top modules in the BCR. We picked a random month. This is from August, download numbers in August. The first ones we see here are getting over 100,000 downloads in a single month. There's no big surprises there. The big rule sets are on top. Before I hand off for community updates, I want to mention the satellites events that are around this Basel conference. And I think also these events are showing up in higher numbers than in previous years. I will not read this slide. We will put some registration links in the BaselCon Slack channel. I don't know if they're fully booked yet. I hope not all of them. But I appreciate all the effort that's done by the community to host these events, spread the word around Basel. Thank you for doing that.